Everyone's just so obsessed. Is that really what's happening? Yeah, I was actually talking about this thing that I didn't say. Sure, Tom, for you, you might have gotten your life together in prison, but the data doesn't tend to support that, does it? A massive channel has just made a video mocking how terrible and lazy any of Tom's commentary is. Because I've never seen anyone say anything positive about Tom's content. I don't see people do it. How do you have an ego? How? How has the world not beaten it out of you yet? What needs to be done? What else needs to happen? Let's put some effort in as well. Alright, so we're gonna be on camera for this. Alright. So the other day we reviewed, it was ActualJusticeWarrior's video about TomFoolery, about how Tom covered AJW by going on this channel, glancing at some thumbnails, and saying there were too many black people there. He then said that he thought the crime rate, he thought that blacks and Hispanics in New York were probably responsible for about 45% of the crime. Blacks and Hispanics make up about 50% of the population, I believe. So if they were to be 45% of the crime, that would mean that black people and Hispanic people are actually disproportionately low in crime stats, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to anyone with even sort of like a tertiary understanding of the stats. Really anyone, like even your most, liberal-minded person online is generally going to know disproportionately, for whatever reason, black people and Hispanic people tend to commit higher rates of crime. So Tom looked pretty stupid. AJW made a video blowing him up. And Tom decided to respond. Oh my god, this is South Park Goth. Thank you, Kenny, for the
Cooney64 super chatted $2. Oh my god, it's the South Park Goth.
Wow, you don't look like what I thought in my head. My face has been out there. You could have found out any time. Okay. Right, so let's get into this. So we're starting off with the first segment here. Destiny Podcast talks smack about Tom, who's covering anything else here. And then he moves into AJW. Let's take a look.
I don't know what this is. Oh, yes, I do. Okay.
Oh my god.
3 monitors.
That's like me. I have 4 monitors, but no big deal. Not trying to flex.
Good job.
What can we do for you today?
Have you tried the big boy?
Dan definitely has. That sounds like something he
Is
tries
that
nightly.
Why?
I do the big boy all the time. Yeah.
Okay, if you guys don't know what the big boy is, maybe some of you guys haven't seen it. So if you don't know what the big boy is,
he's gonna explain it. Cool. Oh, like
when I was in prison, or actually not even prison. When I was in county jail, they have it in prison as well, but it's a little bit different. They do it in a much drier, like almost like pie type fashion. It's weird as fuck. But in county, we had this thing called a big boy, where
I live, laugh, loving the pumpkin spice flannel. So in season. This is why I don't cam up. This is why I just never cam up. I'm never camming up again. I don't want to fucking hear it. That's like that is like such a horrendous comment to have to see. Live, laugh, loving the pumpkin spice flannel. So in season. I think that genuinely, I would rather you just like said something derogatory, like said something like, "Wow, you look like shit today." Like that would bother me less.
You take like ramen noodles, hot pickles, beef,
Mantis. This is not. You should not be making this joke.
Puddlesucker super chatted $10. Can we get a hairline check?
No, Mantis, you should not be making this joke. You were referred to as an estrogenic. What was it? Estrogenized. Can someone? What was it again? Estrogenized trans man jerking off and doing a gross face or something. That was it. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Like puffy Cheetos, like all of these different things. And you mix it all into a bag, shake it up, and then you divvy it out. So each person contributes one thing. And so they kind of just one person will give like ramen noodles, one person will give like a beef steak, one person will give a hot pickle, another person will give hot sauce, like, and they'll all just give a bunch of different things to the bag, and then you shake it up. And so when I was locked up, I don't want the full big boy.
We know the big boy law. I think we're all familiar with the big boy law.
Giving me money, and I was barely ever able to eat. But the only time I could like eat good is I would like hustle for like for different types of things. Like I would like run poker tables and get ramen noodles. I would hand out all of the clothes. They're called oranges because they're very orange. And so I would hand out the oranges, and I would actually, like, people would come and hand me a like a ramen noodle packet or a honey bun or something like that, and I would give them the really nice, like freshly made new ones that looked really good. And I think this is Tom's sister Mary. Nice. Well, yeah, good one. But yeah, I would charge them to like hand these things out, and that's how I would get anything, was like, yeah, through like running poker tables, or I would run like NASCAR pools, or people would gamble on games, or we would do like basketball or football games, or like I would run.
Okay, let's.
I might at least want to know like what it was.
I know what the big boy is.
I was able to get like much better ingredients for it, and much like a lot more ingredients, and make it really good. And had a lot more tools and like entire kitchens that I was able to use, and so I was able to make them like what it's supposed to look like. It's not even the right fucking color. Like, it was like fucking brown when it should be like bright orange. And
wait, what's this?
Too dry, or blah blah blah. And I saw that Cherry made it recently, and she did a whole thing.
Cherry completely fucked it up though. Okay, Cherry beyond fucked it up, because Cherry, what did Cherry do again? She boiled the noodles in the Dr. Pepper, right? The ramen, she put it in the Dr. Pepper. Yeah, she cooked the noodles in Pepsi. Yeah, but in the Dr. Pepper. Which is just like, what the fuck? No, that wasn't Smith. That was Cherry. Which is so, what the fuck are you doing? Women under 40 can't cook. Okay.
But I couldn't get the video player to play on Twitter, but it looked like she made it wrong. All I saw was the end result, and it just does not look anything like what it's supposed to look like. It's not even the right fucking color.
Exactly.
Like, it was like fucking...
It's the Dr. Pepper with it, not the Dr. Pepper in it.
Brown, when it should be like bright orange and red. It was like dark brown. It looks like she made it with like beef ramen or something like that. I don't know what the fuck she did, but it was nowhere close to what it should look like. But yeah, it has like crushed up buffalo pretzels. It's got jalapeno Cheetos. It's got a hot sauce. But you want to crush these things up until they're like literally like seasoning, and then you put it all in. And there's like measurements that you're supposed to put in of each thing, and then you put hot sauce in, and you can put, I like to put a hot pickle in still. I'll go to the gas station and get a spicy pickle and chop it up and put that in as well. Put chicken in it, chicken ramen. It's still really good. I enjoy it, and everybody that I've ever made it for and given it to, they've all thought it was fucking awesome. But yeah, that's what the video was. And now all of the people who are obsessed with me and have their noses up my asshole all the time are all running around.
They're all obsessed. Oh, brother. Dude, they can't all be obsessed, can they? Everyone's just so obsessed. Is that really what's happening? Is that really... Cherry's obsessed. Smith's obsessed. Is that really what's happening? Or is it just like you're kind of incredibly mockable and there are a bunch of people mocking you? Is that...
around obsessing over this video now, so... It's it's popped up, and they're all trying the big boy challenge now.
There's no
TomFoolery.
It's total lolcow behavior.
We've heard of him. I hear he's a great guy. He's very fair.
Very fair.
What about it?
He has
a
recipe called the Big Boy, where it's ramen, canned chicken, pretzels, Cheetos, chips.
Technically, canned chicken isn't the best way to go. I would not recommend canned chicken. Normally, I'll go and buy buffalo chicken that's like hot off the rollers at Quick Trip, and chop that up and dice it. That's normally the best way to do it.
And hot sauce. And you have to pair it with a Dr. Pepper, because that's the way it goes.
It sounds like...
That's the song. Gotta get the Dr. Pepper with it. That's the way it goes.
Oh, wow.
Did you read my comment above? No.
We got a remake.
She thought you were supposed to put the Dr. Pepper in the pot. No, she didn't. Is that what she did? Did she put Dr. Pepper in it? Did you watch it? Did she really put Dr. Pepper in it? You swear?
Tom is about to have a fucking aneurysm. This guy's about to have a fucking heart attack. Put the Dr. Pepper in the big boy? You're supposed to put the Dr. Pepper with the big boy. This guy's about to blow.
Did you watch it? Did she really put Dr. Pepper in it? You swear?
I was going crazy.
Oh, she is so fucking gross, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, no shit.
Check her YouTube channel? No way, dude. No shot. So she DM'd it to me on Discord, but yeah, I couldn't pull it up. It wouldn't play.
Yeah, it's not on her YouTube.
There's nothing on her YouTube. It's not here. What are you talking about? Check her YouTube channel. It's not here.
I'm with Tom on this one. It is gross.
It was on her. I only saw it on her Twitter. But yeah.
You know what this is? This is like when you're really poor and you're trying to impress someone and you're like, hold up, listen. I got a good recipe that's gonna blow your fucking mind. And you're like, bro, you're putting
instructions unclear. The instructions are not unclear. I literally go through the entire process of making it, but I could imagine it being unclear for Jerry, but for normal people who can pay attention. It's pretty straightforward. I literally make it right in front of you. So
Velveeta on some nachos and adding peppers.
Jesus.
Just settle down, okay? Damn. You're not Gordon Ramsay here. That sounds horrible, though. Why would anyone eat that?
Okay.
It's prison food. It
is this all we want? Is this all it was just a big boy question? Was that
it? Doritos in prison, Dan.
They buy them.
He says he went to prison. My fucking record is already out there. Everybody's fucking leaked it like 3 different times now. Why did it? I hate these people. They're so dumb.
It's a PDC.
You can still buy those.
It was a PDC. I think that's the disagreement. It's not that he never went to jail. It's about whether a PDC counts as prison. I think is generally the discussion.
We had Cheetos in prison, but we had. It wasn't the kinds that I use now, but we used Cheetos in jail and in prison.
I think in your mind,
in prison, the difference is that instead of putting it in a bag with lots of water.
Okay, I think we've had.
All right, so
let's see his AJW response. Dude, this PF John guy sucks. I hate PF
content
John.
as much anymore. And please use this picture. Where is this picture coming from? Where do they get this from? Every time it's this fucking picture. Why?
That's a good picture.
And they can never actually crop it correctly. Like you see, like what the hell is this? Why are my headphones always cut off? What is happening?
That's a funny picture.
Why do they do this every time? I don't get it. So anyways, yeah, I guess he goes over this. I skimmed through it a little bit. From what I can tell, I go through like 70 thumbnails and say, yeah, this is what they look like. So you can make a pretty safe assumption from these sorts of things. And what it looks like is he goes through 5.
Okay, so how long is this?
5 of them. Okay. He's like, nope, not, you got this one wrong. Haha, got him. That's what it looks like. Whoa! Slow down, bro. Chill. I know you're excited. Damn. All right.
A lot of criticism, a lot of allegations, or as the Supermate would say, allegations.
False allegations and not facts.
That my content is just chock full of evil white racism, and normally I'd let this kind of
allegations.
Normally I ignore it because honestly it just comes over and over and over again. It's usually backed up by nothing, but today is special. Today I was linked a time code in a live stream that honestly
I'm fucking special, dude. I'm special. Let's go, dude.
Maybe one of the funniest, as in terrible, criticisms that I've ever received. This is borderline Lance from the Surfs level, if not an even weaker criticism.
Oh, fucking shit. That is so retarded. No shot. No shot. This is not Lance from the Surfs level. Lance from the Surfs level would be, look, there's black people in one thumbnail. He's in the KKK. This is proof. He's in the KKK. He's a white nationalist.
Dude. I mean, that's obviously not what Lance from the Surfs would do. So, like, it just comes off like you don't actually have a good response. Like, you kind of know that you did a bit of a cringe lefty moment when you were on stream and you glanced at his channel, looked at a few thumbnails, and you were like, yeah, I mean, well, it's obvious what's going on here. It's obvious what's going on here.
He's a white supremacist, and he's murdered hundreds, maybe hundreds of thousands of black people. That's Lance from the Surfs level. That's what Lance's fucking dumbass does. The fucking leftists over here would just, like, they take, like, a more reasonable critique and turn it into something fucking sane. So, yeah, no shot.
Than Lance from the Surfs, because this genius, known as TomFoolery, who appears to be a Destiny fanboy, has decided that my content is evil white.
It's so crazy that he didn't even get Destiny Orbiter. AJW was like, nah, Destiny fanboy. That's crazy.
And racist, due to the fact that I have too many...
I have not decided this. Just to be clear, I have not decided this, but if that's what he got from that, we'll see if that's a fair analysis. Because I don't think I ever said this.
Black people in my thumbnail, and that really, really bothers him because he's uncomfortable with seeing anybody.
No, as I said, been a fan of him a long time. Doesn't bother me.
Talk at all who happens to not be black about black people. But before we get into this, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via ActualJusticeWarrior.com/join.
Oh, give me the money. Give me
the money.
Destiny subscriber.
Yeah. Let us get into the
Oh man,
I love that clip. I love that clip.
Worst criticism I may have ever received in 8 years of
Dude, he's like glazing. Oh no, this is. Oh, he's like glazing. Oh.
producing content on this platform.
I would say easily under.
This is
He
rough.
covers the repeat offenses.
Begging.
Went on by justice reforms that are not helping the issues.
Absolutely bending the
In
knee.
my opinion, I don't really watch AJW frequently.
So it all starts off with a fellow called Jimmy Beam. Now, I'm sure if you were to go back into this live stream, you could find other instances of this person talking about me, but the fact of the matter is this response is what set up the clip that we're going to talk about. So I just want you guys to see his chat, understand that he is the hero for bringing you entertainment today, because the response to this point about how I cover issues with repeat offenses or criminal justice reform is the hero. But the fact starts off with a producing content on.
I love that.
Give me the money. Give me
the
Oh,
money.
And without further ado, let us get into
I love that clip.
No.
I love that clip.
Worst criticism I may have ever received in 8 years of producing content.
The full sip. Oh no. This is so fucked up. A terrible start. I love that clip. Full sip. That's unfortunate. Terrible start. Horrible start. Bad omen. This is not going to be a good segment, I can tell already.
I love that clip. I love that clip.
Worst criticism I may have ever received in 8 years of producing content on this platform.
I would say easily under.
He covers the repeat offenses issues. Went on by justice reforms that are not helping the issues that were intended to help, in my opinion. I don't really watch AJW frequently.
So it all starts off with a fellow
Do we
called
get
Jimmy
Fool's
Beam. Now,
Rip
I'm
as
sure if
well?
you were to go back into this
Do we
live
get
stream, you
Fool's
can find
Rip?
other instances of this person talking about me, but the fact of the matter is this response
Oh,
is what
shit.
set up the clip that
Oh,
we're going to
shit.
talk about. So I just want you guys to
Fool's
see his
Rip.
chat, understand that he is the hero for bringing you entertainment today, because the response to this point about how I cover issues with repeat offenses or criminal justice reforms that go wrong is actually a pretty good, accurate summation of what I do for the majority of my channel, and I gotta give this guy credit, because again, we would not have this glorious attempted refutation.
I can appreciate AJW because he at least fact checks himself. I've seen multiple videos of him going back and correct the record. I don't know another streamer that does it. Yeah, no, actually, you're actually correct. So I've also given him this credit many times as well. And here is him.
I'm tempted to get out my Tom Tent bingo board. Oh my god.
This video was released 4 days ago. The one about your beautiful hero in White Knight, SJW, TomFoolery, the fucking far leftist.
So few likes.
Lance.
That is a great point. I actually haven't showed it once yet. Guys, that was a great time to talk to you. As we've got 168 viewers here, okay? There's an interesting thing that seems to happen sometimes where we get a few viewers in, but the likes take a while to catch up. So, guys, if you wouldn't mind, okay, if you're enjoying this content totally for free right now, okay, sitting there enjoying this content totally free, paying no money, putting no work in, it'd be hugely appreciated, okay, if you could just either move your cursor to the thumbs up button and click, or press the thumbs up on your mobile device. Both of those, hugely appreciated, okay? And just leave a like on the stream, okay? Now, if you want to take your support further, you can donate to me directly through the Stream Elements link in the pinned chat message. You can buy a membership from YouTube, or gift memberships in the chat randomly. You can buy yourself a super chat, which will highlight your message and read it out on TTS. You can buy a super sticker, which purchase a YouTube image or GIF, highlight it in chat, and I'll describe it. You can go to discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, reddit.com/r/Kuihman. Thank you.
From the surfs type of content creator. This one came out just 4 hours ago. But yeah, he did just
Why
like
would they send money when you waste on shirts like that? You know, that I've probably had this shirt since before I even started my current YouTube channel, to be honest with you. So you probably won't be funding this, actually. I'm not listen. If as a male, if you buy clothes more than once every 2 years, you're like kind of gay. Can we just acknowledge that? If you're buying clothes more than once every 2 years, you're like kind of homosexual. There's like a gay vibe to that. Like metrosexual, at least. You're coping so bad. Bro never leaves his fucking house. Yeah, but even when I did leave my house, I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't out there buying clothes, you know. I wasn't out there purchasing articles of clothing, you know. That wasn't... Shut your bed swerving ass up. 6 shirts on rotation max. That's true. That's facts.
go over a number of the issues that we were kind of talking about him having in the debate with Destiny and all of them, and the shit with what's her name? I don't remember, but anyways, yeah, like all of the stuff that they were talking about in his Twitter space and all that. That's Tom. You're an idiot. You owe AJW a huge apology. Manny G hang out for a moment, little buddy, and try to
wear
try
clothes
to edge
until they get holes, then buy replacements. Turbo based, so based.
As long as it takes this video, you seem to have come too early, but just, you know, cycle back through, take a minute, rest. You can get it back up soon enough, and then just hold it in until
I saw Kuihman trying on blazers at River Island.
we can get into it, right, buddy?
Oh no.
From TomFoolery, if not for this chat. So Jimmy Beam, from me to you, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
He does, well, because he lives in New York. Obviously, I can give even more and say, okay, in New York, there's going to be even more people who may be black or brown that are going to be committing crimes there, and so we can say even maybe 40%, 45%.
So right off the top, we have the first giant red flag that I want to highlight, and that is right here, him saying he lives in New York, so he covers New York stuff. And to be fair, in New York, we're going to have more people who commit crimes that are black or brown or black or Hispanic, and yeah, that's, you know, going to be about 45%, which is probably one of the most ridiculously stupid points that you can make, especially when we have numbers, and one of the things that we find out through those numbers is that the black...
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Whoa. This is already fucking retarded. All right, let's just stop right here. This is a red flag, okay? Let's just pretend for a second that I don't know what the crime rates are in New York. Let's pretend for just a moment that I actually don't know what the crime rates are in New York. And let's pretend that I just have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. I'm not from New York. I don't look at the crime rates. I don't look at, like, racial discrepancies, all of those things. But let's say that, like, you know, I same clip, right? Same exact fucking clip. He calls that a red flag. Whereas, like, normally, you would think, if I'm this fucking SJW lefty who just sees black person and says racism, then...
Yeah, guys, okay, suspend your disbelief. Let's all pretend, let's role play as if Tom is a total fucking retard for a minute, okay? It might be difficult, okay? I'm not sure quite what that world would look like, a world where Tom's a complete fucking retard. Oh, you guys actually aren't struggling with this very much at all, are you? I'm saying you're all already envisioning it. Why are we pretending? Yeah, I mean...
I would not have said that right there, right? I would have said that that's racist, right? That's the claim. That's his sort of, like, mind frame, right? These crazy fucking stupid lefties.
Oh, yeah, a world where Tom isn't a complete fucking retard. It's the utopia future society meme.
They won't even acknowledge that black people commit crimes at higher rates. They just refuse to admit it. They'll just say if anybody acknowledges that black people commit crimes at higher rates, that it's automatically racist for them to do that. That they're all fucking white nationalists when they say that shit. But obviously, I'm not doing that, and I am saying that yes, they obviously in general we all know about, like, the 1350 claims from the FBI stats, and then on top of that, more black people live in New York. As I said, I grew up in New York, and I was a minority in New York. I was one of the few white people in my neighborhood, in my class, in my church, and so I understand that there's going to be a disproportionality in black people, which means that there's going to be probably an even higher crime rate. But this is what he calls a red flag that maybe
Tom isn't a moron. Insert Doctor Strange gif.
I just don't know what the crime rates are in New York. That's the red flag, is that there's a possibility that I just have no idea what I'm like the majority of people who haven't looked at crime rates specific to New York City.
Black and Hispanic population of New York City is over the percentage that he gave. So if they're 50% and they're committing 40...
As of 2020, New York City's population is made up of many different racial and ethnic groups. Let's see. Hispanic, 28%, Black, 20%, Asian, 15.6%. This is actually much lower than I would have assumed.
55% of the crime, then they would be committing a disproportionately low amount of crime, and that is just not the case. In fact, when you go to NYPD crime statistics, what you'll discover...
Wait, what? I said 45%.
Yeah, so, okay, he's only talking about blacks.
Black people are 20%. Not disproportionately low. That's more than double. Did I hear that wrong? Did I just hear that incorrectly? He just said a disproportionately low? What the fuck? Am I stupid? What did he say?
45%,
yes.
Which is probably one of the most ridiculously stupid points that you can make, especially when we have numbers, and one of the things that we find out through those numbers is that the black and Hispanic population of New York City is over the percentage that he gave. So
oh, black and Hispanic. Okay. So 48%. Damn, I said 45%. 48%. Shit.
Well,
wow, yeah, I fucked up big time.
If they're 50%...
Is he being sarcastic there? Because yes, you actually did fuck up big time, because you were saying 45% of the crime. This is 48% of the population, and the crime is going to be disproportionately high compared to the share of the population, right? So it's going to be at least over 48%. Yeah? It's actually 90%. Yeah?
And they're committing 45% of the crime, then they would be committing a disproportionately low amount of crime,
Correct.
And that is just not the case. In fact, when you go to NYPD crime statistics, what you'll discover is that in multiple major categories, they represent 90% of the...
90%, okay. So arrestees, black,
But he's so dumb.
64%. Shooting victims are Most frequently black, 65. Let's see, the race, ethnicity. Of known shooting suspects is most frequently black, 65%. Hispanics is, okay, so he's mixing black and Hispanic, okay.
The crime. Also very notable is that the victimization rates are
incredibly high. He said black and Hispanic. Yeah. He said black and Hispanic.
But one of the things that you'll figure out about these lefties is that they're so uncomfortable when it comes to talking about non-white people that they would rather allow non-white people to be victimized than actually address the problems in those communities. And
yeah, you remember the guy earlier, that fucking retarded TomFoolery show, who was talking about the fact that black people commit crimes at a higher rate and that they commit crimes disproportionately? These fucking losers don't even acknowledge this shit, dude.
Actually talk about the issue of crime in any meaningful way. And by the way, I will link, I believe it's the last 20 years of NYPD crime data where you can look at charts like the ones that I'm putting on your screen right now.
So I think I was...
Black people, blacks and Hispanics are responsible for 90% of the occurrence of cooking ramen in Dr. Pepper. Yeah.
Mostly talking about him having an issue with black people. He wants to mix black and brown people. I did say...
wait.
Him.
You can look at charts like about the issue of crime.
That they commit crimes disproportionately. These fucking losers don't even acknowledge this shit, dude.
Actually talk about the issue of crime in any meaningful way. And by the way, I will...
It's so over. It's so over.
This
is so fucked up.
20 years of NYPD crime data where you can look at charts like the ones that I'm putting on your screen right now.
So I think I was mostly talking about him having an issue with black people. He wants to mix black and brown people. I did say he has black and brown people on his thumbnails, but my claim at that point was about black people. If you go back, the claim that he is destroying right now is I just said black people, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I said black and brown people. I might have said minorities. What did I say? Because he lives in New York, obviously. I can give even more and say, okay, in New York, there's going to be even more people who may be black or brown that are going to be committing crimes. I do say black or brown. Maybe 40%, 45%. I was specifically talking about black people, but I did say black or brown. So yeah, I was meaning to just really talk about black people with that statistic, because yeah, if we do black or brown, it's obviously going to be a lot higher.
That they would rather allow non-white people to be victimized than actually address the problems in those communities and actually talk about the issue of crime in any meaningful way.
Yeah, so you were like kind of fucking retarded, right? So you were kind of being like fucking retarded, right?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, from there on, I am just talking about black people when I'm talking about the crime stats. So fair enough. I said black or brown people. So that does kind of fuck up everything that I'm saying, because for the most part, I'm really just talking about.
You're like a fucking retard, right?
In those claims. So if like these are going to be misdemeanors right here. So these are misdemeanors from black people. It's about 35%, suspects about 50%, and then when we get to like murders and shit, it's at 58% for black people. Rape victims and arrestees, for arrestee, it's again 46%. For black, it's 41%. But yeah, I'm talking about black people when I say that. But as you can see, for black people, this is accurate.
Oh
but
my god,
I did say black or brown. So yeah, I guess.
Well, I was right. If we just talk about black people, the thing that we were talking about. Okay, man.
And by the way, I will link, I believe it's the last 20.
Yeah, I was actually talking about this thing that I didn't say.
Years of NYPD crime data where you can look at charts like the ones that I'm putting on your screen right now, so you can see for yourself that this is a consistent pattern throughout the years.
Say, okay, in New York, there's going to be even more people who may be black or brown that are going to be committing crimes there, and so we can say even maybe 40%.
Now, I know this is going to sound incredibly dumb and obvious to you guys out there in the audience that actually watch my content, but I don't only cover New York City stories. I may highlight New York City stories, or they may jump out to me more because I actually live here, or because a New York State bail reform law leads to a bunch of negative consequences. But what I tend to look for in a story to highlight is not the most vicious crime, is not the most racially charged crime, or anything like that. It is a crime that can be directly attributed to policy, because crimes happen all the time, and we can't really change most of them. We can't really impact most of them. We can't really prevent most of them. But when you have a bad public policy that consistently leads to a result, I want to highlight those crimes because I want change in that public policy. But this is not exclusive to New York City, or anything of the sort. I cover stories from around the country because certain bad policies have been implemented around the country. And by the way, New York City...
Yeah, this is something that I've agreed with him on, is the letting out of people generally. We went over this on a show the other day with somebody where they were talking about the fact that they're letting too many people out, and it does... they have like these stats that show that letting those people out doesn't seem to impact crime at all, but it's on like individuals that we actually have some sort of like crime and punishment system, and that's what our...
Oh my god, my Microsoft Edge is just frozen. Okay, no.
System is set up to do, is it is meant to punish people for these things. It's not meant to fix crime. It's not meant to end crime. It's not meant to make it to where they don't.
The Pizza Hut University teach race and crime statistics. Sadly not, otherwise he wouldn't have just gotten raped by ActualJusticeWarrior so hard to like 300k people, however many subs he's got.
Don't commit crimes anymore. It's meant to get them off the streets to where they're just not able to
commit
commit
the racial
profile. More
course,
so,
maybe
it's meant to punish
with
them for committing the crime. There has to be some sort of consequence for people who are committing crimes. We're
not less trouble here.
Like, we can't wave a magic fucking wand and make it to where people stop committing crimes. And I don't know that it's going to be any better to turn around and put them in classes or some stupid shit that that's just going to give them kind of like a free pass with no punishment for what it is that they did. So yeah, the systems where we just allow people to get out and don't actually give them any sort of punishment for what it is that they did, kind of insane. I've talked about this a bunch myself, is that like I was a drug addict when I was younger. I went to jail, went to prison, but I actually did get out, got 10 years probation, and finished my entire 10 years probation without ever getting another arrest, without ever getting in trouble again. When I was locked up, I was able to kind of like rethink my life and rethink the shit that I was doing, and was able to get off of heroin and get clean without ever getting another arrest, without ever getting in trouble again. When I was locked up, I was able to...
Wait, this is like cope. This is like retarded anecdote shit. Yeah, what is this?
The systems where we just allow people to get out and don't actually give them any sort of punishment for what it is that they did, kind of insane. I've talked about stupid shit that that's just gonna give them kind of like a free pass with no punishment for what it is that they did. So yeah, the systems where
sure, Tom, for you might have gotten your life together in prison, but the data doesn't tend to support that, does it? Like, he must know, right? That most people come out of prison more criminally minded than they went in. That it doesn't, especially at least first-time offenders and stuff like that, it doesn't tend to do something to help there a lot of the time. I thought this guy was I thought this guy was like a data Andy. I thought this was like a debate bro, a smart guy, a real egghead, you know? Why is he bringing up fucking anecdotes to justify certain types of prison?
Where we just allow people to get out and don't actually give them any sort of punishment for what it is that they did, kind of insane. I've talked about this a bunch myself, is that like I was a drug addict when I was younger. I went to jail, went to prison, but I actually did get out, got 10 years probation, and finished my entire 10 years probation without ever getting another arrest, without ever getting in trouble again. When I was locked up...
Why is he being a retard? He's usually so smart. Well, okay, yeah, fair enough.
I was able to kind of like rethink my life and rethink the shit that I was doing, and was able to get off of heroin and get clean. Not an easy thing to do, not even a thing that I would expect of most people. But I know that I would not have gotten clean if I'd like been put in rehab or something like that. Like rehab would have been just like a fun place for me to go and get high with a bunch of other druggies. So it wouldn't have helped any if they just threw me in fucking prison.
Is disproportionately safer than most big cities. In fact, it is still, even with the recent upticks in crime, the safest big city due to proportional increases in other cities.
And he does talk about, yes, like repeat offenses, people getting let out, those sorts of things. But it's still, again, like he's not really talking about white people getting let out very often. He's not talking about white people being given a bail. He's not talking about white people's crimes getting dropped. He's not like it is.
So this is where the allegation comes in. He's not really talking about white people getting out. He says with bail, but again, I'm assuming he means, or he's at least vaguely trying to reference without bail, which is the issue that I have with a lot of New York City stories that I cover. And again, if you were to...
I think at the time I was referencing some sort of something that I saw where he was upset that they gave somebody who was, I can't remember the story, maybe like a rapist and a murderer or some shit, but they gave him a bail. They allowed the guy to bail out, and he did a whole video of how he didn't like that they even allowed the person to have a bail. And so that's what I'm referencing there, but yeah, as I just addressed this part, so.
To look at the numbers, proportionately, there's not a lot of white people committing these serious crimes. And then again, I also have to look for repeat offenders that were...
Well, yeah, so he says proportionally, but none of my stuff is really about, like, him explicitly being racist in any way.
Recently released due to bail reform policies. So a lot of times that comes up how it comes up. And again, I will point out that most of the time when you have a black perpetrator or Hispanic perpetrator, the victim in that instance isn't a white person. So it's typically a black person or Hispanic person. So part of the reason I point this out is because I don't want them victimized. But, you know, never talk about that because...
So I have actually, in other streams where I've talked about this, acknowledged that exact thing, where I've said that a lot of people, and we bring it up in this as well, is that one of the red flags about him is that he's friends with AIU. Atheism is unstoppable. And that this has always been something that I always thought was kind of sus about him. And that AIU consistently complains about white people being victims of black crimes. And that black people are just running around, bullying white people, murdering white people, raping their beautiful white women. And we just went over one of AIU's videos doing this recently, where he was talking about
okay, because he's friends with this guy.
What was it, Black Wall Street or something like that? And yeah, like AIU is consistently complaining about white people being victimized by black people. Whereas, like, as AJW points out, it's normally black people are victimizing black people, and white people are victimizing white people, obviously, because the majority of the time, like, that's just who we live around. We live around white people. White people live around white people. Black people live around black people. It's just way more likely that those are the people that we're going to be engaging with, and that those are the people that we're going to be victimizing. And so, yeah, I've given credit in the past where people in chat are complaining about his relationship with AIU and then saying, yeah, and they complain about how white people are always victims of black people. I don't think AJW does it. Like he doesn't ever seem to make a big deal about white victims or white people getting hurt all the time, or white you know, that white people being around black people is so dangerous, or like he doesn't do the whole like victim mentality. Oh, we're such poor little baby white people and we're so scared for our lives all the time and we can't do anything. We don't know what to do anymore. He doesn't do any of that shit that AIU does.
Oh my God, you could never ever criticize these people because it makes TomFoolery uncomfortable. He doesn't understand how I can just speak about these.
Doesn't make me uncomfortable. People who are in my audience know that actually I get in trouble with the lefties pretty often for talking about the fact that black people have an issue with their culture, and that they have an issue with like the ways that they praise gang violence and like murders and stealing and crimes and shit like that, and that there are like a lot of issues within black culture that perpetuate these problems. And I acknowledge pretty often that while I do think systemic racism is a thing, that's only like a portion of.
I just don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I don't buy the black culture thing. There's some level of it, maybe, but I think that does the culture not kind of come from the circumstances? Is the point not that? I guess because the culture comes from the effects of the culture come from the circumstances, because you don't. Middle class white kids that listen to fucking rap about killing people don't start going and killing people, but poor whites will also listen to that music and will also kill people. Because it's coming from the circumstances more than the... But I don't... Is there any... Okay, you can say it's something to... It's everything. Where is the evidence? Show me, like, some piece of evidence that shows, like, an effect of black culture. Like, black culture causing something to happen at an increased rate. Where it's actually the culture. There is some kind of causal element to the culture that has been substantiated in any way. What's the Florida rap where they kill each other, literally? But... Okay, that is such... Ryle, don't be fucking retarded, please. I'm begging you. Holy shit. Just because they sing about killing people in a few songs does not mean that there is a causal link in the data about between the culture and the violence. Those do not mean the same thing. Fucking retard, please. Holy fuck. Who said causal just now? There's problems in the culture. These things are leading to crimes. Just now, that's what the conversation is, Mantis. You can try and keep up. It's okay. Mantis, I can run it back. I'll run it back for you, okay? Let's listen to this bald retard
such poor little baby white people, and we're
I'll just ban you from chat because I don't care what you have to say about
Tom, frankly. We don't know what to do anymore. He doesn't do any of that shit that AIU does. Scared for our lives all the time, and we can't do anything. We don't know what to do anymore. He doesn't do any of that shit that AIU does.
Oh my God, you could never ever criticize these people because it makes TomFoolery uncomfortable. He doesn't understand how I can just speak about these.
Okay, it's glorified. Why even disagree with that? Because he's saying the glorification's a problem. I don't have an issue with someone glorifying violence. If someone says, oh yeah, it's really base this guy died, it's like, well, I'd have a moral issue with that. They're just fucking saying something. They think it's epic and based. Shooting people is really cool and funny. If someone says that, like, what do I care? That's not... If you're saying it's a problem, you're implying there's a negative effect. Obviously.
Doesn't make me uncomfortable. People who are in my audience know that actually I get in trouble with the lefties pretty often for talking about the fact that black people have an issue with their culture, and that they have an issue with like the ways that they praise gang violence and...
Mantis, I love it, Mantis. You come in here thinking that it's like you see yourself as above it. You think, oh, you bottom feeder. I can't do your fucking awful grating voice, but you come in here thinking it's like it's so below you, you're so above it all. But like you're a retard, and so is Tom. People mock how terrible, like a massive channel has just made a video mocking how terrible and lazy any of Tom's commentary is. Because it's just like you can pick out any day of stream and find like some of the dumbest shit you'll ever hear. It's so funny. Where's this debate with Destiny? This is like, I would want to go back through it, but it's going to take too long. It's just so funny that he went into that argument with Destiny and Pisco and shit, saying, you should have debated Andrew on whether state insurrection, on the state insurrection point. You should have done it. And then midway through, he changes his point when he's like backed into a corner, literally getting raped 6 times over. He quietly changes his point from you should have debated that to you could have debated that. And then slips out of it. And then is like totally retconned it, saying, oh no, they agreed with me the whole time. They agreed with me the whole time. It's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah, you should have debated the state point. You should have engaged with the hypothetical at the state point. It's the same thing. I'm making the same point, Mantis. He said Destiny should have done that. Then midway through, he changes to could. And then afterwards says, oh, they agreed with me. They agreed with me. No, they didn't. You changed your point midway through to desperately try and evade a raping from the only community that is even close to having a positive impression of you. But you come in here being like, oh, I'm so above it. I'm so above it. Mantis, you're a downy. You're a complete downy. I don't think I've ever seen you make like an actual point, like a positive point, like, oh, I think this is the case, and here's why I think it. Here's a piece of evidence. But yet you think you're above other people. Why? Why?
And like murders and stealing and crimes and shit like that, and that there are like a lot of issues within black culture that
him getting to admit he could have removes his reasoning for saying he couldn't. Again, you're saying could and couldn't. Should and shouldn't was the initial disagreement. The prompt of the debate was January 6th an insurrection? January 6th occurred on federal grounds. You do not need to start arguing about the state insurrection to prove the case that January 6th would qualify as an insurrection because it was purely federal. So you could imagine a world where the laws say that insurrections can only be federal. There would be no reason, it would be a complete trap to start engaging on a state hypothetical. That's why there's an important difference between could and couldn't, and should and shouldn't. Because it is not the case that insurrections can only happen on federal grounds. They can happen on state grounds. So he could have engaged with the hypothetical. But that doesn't mean he should have. There was no impetus for him to engage with it. And Tom changed between those 2 points midway through the debate and has totally retconned and desperately tried to pretend that Pisco actually agreed with him the whole time, when it's just not the case. Not the case. This guy does everything he can to cockroach away from look like a complete fucking retard in front of these massive audiences, and still fails, and still fails. It's just so baffling. And then you come in here acting above it all. Crazy.
Perpetuate these problems. And I acknowledge pretty often that while I do think systemic racism is a thing, that's only like...
There is a reason why he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have, because he didn't have the research on it. He did not have the knowledge to know. I'm caping for Daddy Destiny. Okay, you embarrassed yourself enough. That's okay. That's okay. We'll move on.
A portion of why black people are committing crimes, and that at some point there has to be some personal responsibility for what it is that they're doing with their own lives, and that they have to be able to make changes themselves and make better decisions. Everything that he's talking about here is just like a massive straw man, because it's just not true.
But you're caping for Daddy Destiny.
I understand that if this is like the only little clip that he gets of me, that he's gonna jump to a bunch of conclusions from it. But
That's
yeah,
epic.
Those conclusions aren't correct. And funny enough, I'm not going to get super upset about the fact that he's making those conclusions, because based on the clips that he's seeing, I could see why he would categorize me that way, right? It makes sense to me that he's going to see me say specific things and think, oh, he's one of those types of people, and then assume that I have a bunch of positions that I don't have. That makes perfect sense to me, because that's what people do.
These issues in a concise way, because he's so uncomfortable every time he looks at a black person.
I mean, we can go to his channel real quick. It's pretty easy to see. And this is the main event. It's gonna be hard to show on the short screen.
Now, you guys might be wondering why I left this in, and that is to tease you, to get you excited for what is to come. Because honestly, people not knowing crime statistics, accusing me of being an evil white racist, that's all standard fare stuff I've experienced before. But this guy decided to pull up my channel, not to watch and or analyze any of my videos, but to say...
I've watched and analyzed tons of his videos, actually. Let's go, let's see. Destiny lies about ActualJusticeWarrior. ActualJusticeWarrior is a white supremacist. AJW versus Sam Cedar. This is, I'm pretty sure, me saying that he's not one. We'll go back to that. AJW versus Sam Cedar debate part 1. AJW versus Sam Cedar part 2. So I fucking hate Sam Cedar. So, Mike. Thank you. So yeah, as I was saying, this one I think is called ActualJusticeWarrior is a white supremacist. It's him debating Sam Cedar. I fucking hate Sam Cedar, so it was just like kind of a clickbaity thumbnail. Don't think he's a white supremacist. It's yeah, I fucking hate Sam Cedar. Destiny lies about ActualJusticeWarrior. So this is me going over his video talking about Destiny, getting a bunch of stuff.
People just say culture don't describe it to material conditions. Yeah, I think so. I think so. The culture shit is fucking retarded. Who cares if there's a culture? There could be a culture that says, oh yeah, it's really you know, fucking killing your ops is based. But if no one actually carries it out, who cares about the fucking culture? Oh, he's 7 minutes behind, so he's not even going to hear this. But yeah, who gives a fuck about the culture? This is why I'm saying the culture problem. You're obviously implying there is a causal relationship between the culture and the violence. But I've never seen that substantiated. I've never seen that. Otherwise, you would expect white people who adopt parts of black culture to become violent as well, right? If it was the culture, you would expect that to happen. But I don't think that's happening.
About him wrong and agreeing with him. Part 1 of AJW versus Sam Cedar. Part 2 of AJW versus Sam Cedar. AJW and Destiny talking about me. Oh, that's right now. Okay, that's this stream here currently. But anyways, my point is I've gone over tons of stuff with AJW and analyzed tons of his content. And so, yeah, it's just not the... It's not like as if I've never analyzed his content before. I don't know who he is.
I agree with you most, but there's definitely some effect. Well, then show it. How would you substantiate it? What, dude, we've got data on so much shit. You're saying that they couldn't find, like, say, 2 cohorts or like a bunch of different cohorts of, you know, populations where they've got similar material conditions, similar infrastructure, similar surroundings. You know, it's like mostly a bunch of comparable variables. But then the cultures are slightly different. You're saying we can't find that anywhere, and then we can't just do an analysis of the crime rates. And you're saying we can't find that anywhere. We can't find enough similar pockets of people to do that analysis. It just, like, I don't buy that. You could absolutely show it. Exactly. It always comes back to source, look around you, bro. Source, open your eyes. Can't you just see it? It just seems obvious. Obviously, if people are singing about shooting each other, they're going to shoot each other. Obviously, if you're listening to music about selling drugs, you're going to sell drugs. And it's just like, it's the most low IQ, like... I don't, it's like worthless to even engage with. It's like pointless.
I've watched him for years. I've reviewed him for years. I've defended him many times. So yeah, the idea that, oh, he's going to go to my channel. He's not even going to analyze my content. He doesn't even know who I am.
Obviously, if you play violent video games, you'll become violent. Exactly.
I know who he is. I know him well.
That the thumbnails are evil, white, and racist because black people appear in the thumbnails. And no, I'm not kidding. This is actually the case.
No, he is kidding. No, he is kidding. He either he's kidding or he's fucking retarded. But yes, it's got to be one of those two.
That this guy's gonna make, and it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, right off the rip. Here you go. Teen Mob savagely beats Driver for fun, and it is brown and black guys there. There's an Asian guy.
So first of all, I just want to point out that the first video that he highlighted at the time that he did this was a Los Angeles video, and the mob in that video appeared to be Latino largely, in my opinion, based on me watching the footage and making the video. Although he did say black and brown, but I just want to highlight that. And the next video, he says there's black and brown people in there.
Here's a brown and a black guy and another black guy there robbing a grocery store.
But to be clear, that's a story about migrant crime and a suspect as young as 11 being arrested, and all of the migrants in that video were also Latino. Now, I just want to highlight his complete inability to identify a black person because I find that funny, even when the title, Migrants, New York City, would probably give that away, because that's amusing to me. But to be clear, he is making the case that...
Well, what is this? Is there an abstract here? Yeah, also abstract. We love an abstract. We love a nice one-paragraph abstract. That's awesome. The focus of this paper was to look at the impact of culture on crime data, except for religion adherence rates. Came from the 2007 County and City Data Book. Religion adherence rate came from the Association of Religion Data Archives. Dependent variables with total crime, violent crime, property crime rates. Main dependent variables. Aspects of culture. Those variables are religious adherence rates, percent republication, and net immigration. Religious adherence rate had a weak, negative, and statistically significant association with total crime rate. Similar result occurred when examining religious adherence rates. Association with property crime. The association between religion adherence rate and violent crime was weak and statistically non-significant. Sex ratio had negative, weak, and association with crime rates. Then urban had positive, moderate, statistically significant association with crime rates. Okay, I don't understand what's been said there. I don't understand what these variables are. Sex ratio, what's... Oh, is that the ratio between sexes? So if there's more women, I assume there's less crime. Okay. Okay, yeah. Percent urban had a positive, moderate. So what's that? Is that, I assume that means higher population areas? Percent urban? I guess that's about population density, right? I don't know what South is.
Research stream, really? Now you copy that too?
I think you Destiny for the 333. I'm going to figure out which one of you that was. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what South means here. Okay, whatever.
The evil white racism is not only about black people, but it also extends to Latino people, which is something that I'm going to discuss.
But again, this is like, it's saying culture, but I mean, religion, I'll accept religion as culture, but that's going to be about, if people are going to church and are engaged in a community, they're less likely to commit property crime. They know their neighbors and they are more accountable to the people around them, right? It's about religious impact on crime, not race. We're not talking about 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 race. We're talking about culture. So we do care about religion. Oh, God. Why is it so... God, it's so AIDS trying to find, like, any research. Anything. They should just, like, answer questions, you know? It's just, like... Why do they do all these gay studies with, like, these stupid titles? Why don't they just, like... put up an article saying, does black culture make people commit crime? And then when I search that, just come up with that and tell me what the truth is. Okay? Why do they do this shit where it's like analyzing the longitudinal effects of hot cock and penis ass? Oh, that's what it's you. Okay. Fuck this.
Very seriously with my wife and with half of
Not my claim. Not my claim.
my family because I just can't control myself. Apparently. So just to give you an idea of how stupid this analysis is, the black guy in front of the car, he was hit by the car. The story, indicated by the title, is about that man getting hit by a car and the guy being so happy about it. He posted it on social media for entertainment value. So that black guy, he was the victim in the story. He circled in there. The title, it says he was hit. It indicates that clearly for you. This is a video that was posted by the driver for entertainment value. Now, it is likely, even though the suspect has not been revealed because it's in the city of Detroit, that the driver is a black person, but that's not the person in the thumbnail. I just want to point that out.
Here's TYT.
Oh, no, that is not TYT. What are you even talking about? That was Anna from my intro where I have her say, give me the money.
Okay. Think through. Here's an example, right? You could imagine you had like the worst version of black culture, right? Whatever the worst conservative character of black culture is. All their music is just about shooting people and doing drugs, okay? But let's say all that music is made in incredibly well-kept local community centers that make sure that teenagers don't fuck around on the street after school. You're probably going to have lower crime than like a comparable black community that has a better culture but less like resources, you know?
Oh, give me the money.
So stupid. So this is obviously bad faith of me.
No, that is not TYT.
I'm scrolling over,
but that's not the person in the thumbnail. I just want to point that out.
I'm scrolling over thumbnails, and when I put my mouse on it, it changes to Anna, and I think it's a TYT thing. That was obviously me lying and just being insanely bad faith there. You got me.
Oh, no, that is not TYT. What are you even talking about? That was Anna from my intro where I have her say, give me the money.
Oh, give me the money.
You give me the money.
You give me the money.
Okay.
Okay.
Not a TYT video. One of the things that maybe would give that away is the fact that it says Disney, and I have a...
He managed to turn this into a 20-minute video. Well, I go over like 70 different thumbnails, and so I'm sure he can find 5 that I was wrong about, and make a really big deal about those 5, and then I look fucking retarded then. So
I have an image of a creepy Mickey Mouse. This is about Disney.
Oh, he's coping. Oh, he's coping. Oh, well, look fucking retarded then. Yeah, no shit, because you are a fucking retard, dude.
Trying to say that Disney Plus subscription makes them immune from lawsuits.
Black cop.
Oh my god.
Criminal.
So first of all, I want to give TomFoolery credit for achieving a level beyond.
It's way more than 5. He doesn't even know what my fucking claim is, Manny. He doesn't even know what my fucking claim is. He just started off with a fucking claim that he didn't play me saying. I didn't say it. I didn't say the thing he said. I didn't say anything about evil white racist. This never happened. But that's his claim. That's what he's disproving here. So
your typical leftist by appropriately labeling Michael Brown a black criminal. Now, the point of this particular story.
No, I believe Michael Brown was a fucking black criminal. I believe Michael Brown was a black criminal. I believe that, if I remember correctly, there's been too many fucking things that, like, the BLM people get upset about where they run around saying that, a black man was innocently shot. But from the best of my memory, I think Michael Brown was the hands up, don't shoot kid who supposedly grabbed the cop's gun, and his friend who was with him, who made up the hands up, don't shoot thing, came back and said that he did.
Yo, thank you for $20, Musty. Thank you. Drive-by dono from the mustest whale in chat. Thank you.
Try to grab the gun, from what I remember. So, I have no issue with him saying this. Tom, if you go over my thumbnails, it's all black people committing crimes. Am I racist? Yes, 100%. STV Philly, for sure. That's all it takes. 100%.
It was not about Michael Brown's actions. It was about a cop getting a traumatic brain injury because they were still rioting on the 10-year anniversary of Michael Brown being killed, which, by the way, was a 100% justified shooting. Read the Department of Justice report. But it is heartwarming for me to see somebody on the left label Michael Brown a criminal because he was committing a crime. And I appreciate that. It only took 10 years and a cop to get a traumatic brain injury. But thank you, buddy.
San Francisco forces victim to pay $50,000, so we gotta wait. And you see, like, when he says this, like he's got this assumption that I am this guy who would not admit this about Michael Brown, when I have many times talked about Michael Brown a bunch of times and talked about the scenario, talked about people who refuse to admit these things. This is his assumption going into this, okay? And again, fair enough, like based on his thought of what it is that I'm trying to prove here. It makes sense that he would think that.
Thank you for the $20 again, Musty. Oh, geez, I did a typo. My bad. Thank you. Thank you.
That guy as a victim here with what looks like a bunch of black people out in the streets.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, this is funny to me because he's like, also there's a bunch of black people out there in the streets when he goes over it and you can see cars moving around. So I guess he's just assuming that the people participating in the street takeover happen to be black people. But just so you guys know, the person who ended up slamming into that particular guy's building, there's not video footage of it. We actually never caught that guy. So we don't know who that person was. But nice.
What does that have to do with the people who were in the streets? I didn't say anything about that guy.
Nice assumption.
We got two black guy and a black cop here.
Again, there's no context right here. He's like black guy and black.
That is the fucking context. What do you mean? That is the context, bro. What if you knew what my claim was? That is the context. What does that have to do with the people who were in the streets? I didn't say anything about that guy.
Nice assumption.
We got two black guy and a black cop here.
Again, there's no context right here. He's like black guy and black.
That is the fucking context. What do you mean? That is the context, bro. What if you knew what my claim was? That is the context.
Criminal
what are you talking
here.
about?
The black cop was murdered while off duty. He was shot with a pistol that was modified to fire automatically by somebody who was released 8 years early on a sentence, picked up again for a weapons charge, and by the way, he has multiple felony convictions for crimes with firearms, and then they let him go even though they should have violated his parole. So no context matters right here. The black cop that died right there, no reason to talk about that because, you know, evil white racism to have black people in your thumbnail.
5 times felony, early release, kills cops. So we got a brown guy over here.
So in this particular instance, he says the brown guy over here, that would be the hero of the story. That Latino guy, he saved a
Can
girl,
we talk about Tom's
Somebody
actual crime, which is wearing a freaking hat inside?
What, you don't like the W hat, the Woodstock hat? You don't like the dub? You don't like the dub? What?
Trying to attack her.
This is actually fucking wild. So I think we had what like 90 viewers just a minute ago. And as soon as I said, well, he never actually played me saying I made the claim that he says that I made. Dude, I literally, as soon as I said that, we fucking dropped like 30, 40 viewers just like that. Like with a fucking second, dude. As soon as I said it, I was like, he never actually played me making the claim that he says I'm making. We just fucking, boom, gone. Where did they go? What happened?
He defended her.
2 black people.
People stopped watching. Must be because Tom owned them. Can't be because he's a boring fucking loser. Can't be because it's a boring fucking try-ass, dead-ass stream. Couldn't be that. Couldn't be they just left because it was a boring-ass, dead-ass, loser-ass stream. Has to be because Tom was owning AJW. Okay.
As I said that, we fucking dropped like 30, 40 viewers. Just like 90 viewers just a minute ago. And as soon as I said, well, he never actually played me saying I made the claim that he says that I made. Dude, I literally, as soon as I said that, we fucking dropped like 30, 40 viewers just like that. Like with a fucking second, dude. As soon as I said it, I was like, he never actually played me making the claim that he says I'm making. We just fucking, boom, gone. Where did they go? What happened?
He defended her.
2 black people, gang of black people, black woman, whole screen of black people.
So he ends up highlighting a bunch of thumbnails right there, and I'm just going to knock them out really quickly because he labels the super mayor just black people. And honestly, shame
so
on
racist.
y'all for that.
Yeah,
We got to
disgusting.
these speeches every board meeting, be here to 10, 11 o'clock at night. Ain't even got to the gym because everybody wants to say little sideways stuff. And then now we got to sit trying to remember what y'all saying and then say something back just to tell the residents to show them that we are doing what's right. Because y'all got false narratives out there. And y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's empowered. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. All the stuff that y'all did to get people to come to our community, to just diss and down our community. Shame on y'all.
Listen, if you think I would ignore somebody as over-the-top corrupt as the super mayor, Tiffany,
I shouldn't do that with my
if you're a
camera
white
on.
woman, you need to have your head examined. That story is gold from top
No, shame on y'all. Shame on y'all.
to bottom. And by the way, the entire village board of Dalton that is fighting against her is black, and 91% of the population that wants her out of office is black. So again, he's like, oh, there's black people in the thumbnail. He goes over all the super mayor videos as if that is the key defining factor in that particular story, when in reality, in actuality, that story is all about the craziness of one woman who rules a small town in the south suburbs of Chicago like a tyrant, and I will not apologize nor be
I think people were disappointed that you're not a super soy progressive that calls everyone and everything racist. Yeah, it could have been me saying that, yeah, I'm aware that Michael Brown was a criminal that did it. It could, maybe that's what dropped off all the views. They're like, fuck, we don't get the fucking post we wanted.
smirched by TomFoolery for covering this
Shit,
amazing
man.
tale that he is completely
Shit.
unaware of. And
Apologies.
honestly, again, shame on y'all.
Shit, man.
Shame on y'all.
So if you didn't realize with him completely glossing over the context of the Super Mayor story, which again is shameful that he doesn't know, then these two videos should have clued you in.
Black people, black people, black people.
So one right there is about the people, the citizens of Nassau County, being angry that they're considering a mask ban, and they say it's due to criminality. So I show surveillance video that is a mashup of criminals, not all.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get to it. The fucking claim here is not that
Shame on y'all.
he is racist for this. The claim here is that there are things that give you like red flags about people, and he has some of those red flags. That was the claim. That was the actual claim. And so one of the red flags was, yes, his friendship with AIU. The other red flag is that all of his thumbnails have black people on it. So even if we assume that, like, yes, he's not doing anything racist, this isn't constant complaining about black people, it is that, like, because one of the things that I say is like, oh, well, he lives in New York, so it makes sense that, like, to some extent there would be a disproportionality of black people, but I bet you anything that it would not be to the disproportionality of his thumbnails. Now, obviously I said black and brown, so that was my bad, but my claim was really just about black people, and then the fact that he puts black and brown people on all of his thumbnails. And I'm saying that these would just, like, appease black people, that this would, or sorry, racist people, that this would just like this is something that they would want to click on, is like something that looks like black person did something bad, black person did something dumb, and then a lot of like TYT stuff, which I don't think like everybody loves dunking on TYT.
He's desperately talking himself around in circles, trying to like justify this. Yo, thank you for $50.
Super chatted $49.99. AJW is so cool, making thousands saying blacks commit crimes. Tom, give up. You make $400 a month at most.
Well, that's the thing. That is basically all ActualJusticeWarrior's channel is, right? It is just like, because he doesn't, I haven't seen him do like crazy like data analysis. It is basically just like, here's a crime. Now, he's doing it probably relatively proportionally. I don't think he's specifically targeting black people just to make videos that make black people like criminals. And he makes the point that they're usually the victims are black too. But it is basically just like, oh, here's a crime a black person committed today. Here's another crime a black person committed today. Oh, guys, today we've got a crime committed by a black person. It's just like yeah, that's what I'm saying. He goes over cases, not stats. So it's not like he has to actually make a point or a broad prescription. He just has to show a crime that happened that day. Here's like a bad thing that happened today. It's like it feels like the easiest thing in the world. I mean, he probably has to do a decent amount of, like, I imagine when he's like researching one of these Twitter videos where someone's saying, like, what is it? Where was the one about the weaves? When he like has to fact check some video like this for someone on Twitter saying like, oh, here's the black people stealing the stuff, and he's like, oh, it's not actually like that, guys. I'm sure he has to put in some work and like actually fucking go and read some news sources. But it ain't like, you know, we aren't writing academic papers here, are we? We aren't exactly doing video essays. It's fucking based. I respect it, seriously. The grind is crazy. That black crime grind.
Looking at Anna Kasparian acting like a retard, that's not something for racist people. That's just a great pastime. But that, yes, that like regardless of what it is he's covering here, the thumbnails look like things that are going to appeal to people who are racist. That's the claim. And then I think I literally say at some point, like, yeah, I don't know he's racist. Like, I just know that these are the things that are true. Now, with that said, that's literally what he's doing to me. Literally same thing. He's making a whole lot of assumptions about some sort of.
It's not work for ActualJusticeWarrior. Making videos about black crime is his passion.
Like soy lefty that I am. And he's actually, where I don't jump to conclusions about his positions based on these red flags. I don't say he hates black people because of these things. I don't say he is racist because of any of these things. I don't make any claims about his positions on these things whatsoever. Whereas that's literally what he does this whole time. He jumps to a ton of conclusions about my positions. He jumps to a ton of conclusions about my politics. He jumps to a ton of conclusions about the things that I believe based on this little bit here, because he sees those as red flags that.
Thanks for 333
Maybe
Goldie.
if we tell AJW that Trump is black, he'll talk about his 34 felonies.
Okay, thank you for the 333.
Would lead him to a bunch of other conclusions. Makes sense to me that he would jump to those conclusions. Of course, I see what he's looking at, and I think, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Based on this thought process, it makes sense that you would think that I believe all these other things. But I'm not even going half as far as he is. I'm not going nearly as far as he is, where he is actually, like, making claims about my beliefs or anything. The problem is the clip implies that you were accusing him of being racist. The clip implies that without any other context. So
Initially, I think it started off with us talking about Brittany Simon, I believe, and talking about the fact that, like, when she says things that are, where she says something to make it sound like I'm like this horrible misogynist, and she makes a joke that in the context that she said it in, it actually sounds like she thinks that I'm this like woman-hating, like, you know, wife beater or something. But then she comes onto my show and she's like, no, that's obviously a joke. And I'm like, yeah, I get that it's a joke, but in the context that you said it, it obviously is going to make all of your audience who in that moment kind of hates me and thinks that I'm just telling women that they're like, that if you got raped, get over it. Like, that's how they feel about me in the moment that the joke is made. And so to them, the joke is like going to have a very different implication to it. When she knows, like, all the people who are saying this are super bad faith, like, why is she joining them? Why would she say something like this? And like that, yeah, each group, based on what it is that's being said, are going to interpret that information insanely differently, because they're going to hear it with like different context attached to it. And so a joke in and of itself, lots of people will say, oh, it was just a joke, though it's not that big of a deal. Well, if I make like a racist joke in front of a bunch of groypers, their audience is going to take it very differently than if I say it in front of my audience, who thinks, oh, well, Tom's obviously not racist. This is funny because he's kind of making fun of racist people. So yeah, I'm talking about the fact that, like, I make racist jokes a lot, but depending on who I say the racist joke in front of, it's going to be received and interpreted very differently. So then, yeah, he says the comment comes up.
So what is the point here?
Okay, I can get, but Tom, the reason that criticism lands flat is because you made your point with thumbnails. If my criticism was that he's a fucking racist, you would be correct, Philly. If that was my criticism, of course, that would land flat. Talking about white people being given a bail. He's not talking about white people's crimes getting dropped. He's not, like, it is.
Yo, thank you for the 5 gifted, Max. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's huge.
I mean, we can go to his channel real quick. It's pretty easy to see. So yeah, it wasn't. At no point am I saying he is a racist. He is racist. He hates black people. That was just not my claim. But we'll get farther into this, and then we'll.
Well, I think he's saying that he was calling it a red flag, right? I wasn't saying he's a racist. I'm saying that these thumbnails are a red flag. This looks like a red flag, which is like, I mean, yeah, sure, you're not saying he's definitely a racist. You're just saying there's some smoke. Where there's smoke. Yeah, okay, man.
Them are black, but this was one of the most high-resolution images of a bunch of different people in surveillance video that were wearing the mask at that moment in time. The next one that he highlights is...
Bro doesn't understand why his moral grandstanding was not taken well. Frederick, let me ask you a question. When I say I completely understand why he jumps to these conclusions, what part of that is me not understanding? I will wait. I'm sure you're going to have a great explanation for how that's me not understanding. Go ahead.
Red flag is such a female group chat phrase.
Then what about the thumbnails where you say something like AJW is a white supremacist or whatever that you went over? How do we know that's a joke or clickbait? He didn't use that as his evidence, so that's just not part of the analysis. Okay, he's not. Okay.
Yo, thank you for the $20. Shiba Inu wearing a samurai outfit, samurai armor, holding up a gold trophy, pressing his face against it, holding it just like he's loving it. He's got some stars around it too. Thank you, Max, for $20 super sticker.
Okay.
This one, which again, he's just uncomfortable because there are black people in the thumbnail. But what is the point of that particular story? Now, Tom, I understand that this might make you uncomfortable, but the reason why those black people were in the thumbnail is because they were actually correct in that story. The whole point of that video that he just dismissed as evil white racism based on the thumbnail was the fact that somebody on Twitter.com cut up a local news segment that featured these black people to make it seem like they were trying to steal something post an eviction. And I ended up looking into it, and what I discovered is that the police throwing this stuff out in the landfill, they were completely wrong to do so. It was a waste of taxpayer dollars because these black people knew the eviction law better than them. And when property is put out, it is free to take. And again, the whole point of
I'm totally surprised he's saying black people and not just completely calling them N-words with the hard R, you know? I fully expected that. I've never seen an AJW video before, and so I was expecting him to refer to them that way. This is a little surprising. I'm actually blown away. Oh my goodness. He's not a Nazi. I'm just now realizing this. Wow, I feel so bad.
The video was the police were wrong, these people were right, and anybody who cuts up the video to post it on social media in a misleading way, like the person did on Twitter in that particular case, is a bad person trying to play to the worst instincts of people that may be out there in the audience.
A black person, looks like a black person on that one. I can't really tell on that one.
Look, I know white guilt makes people into absolute
thank
power.
you for the 149 Canadian ice cream, Isu. Thank you. Yum, 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 yum.
I've seen it a million times, but this is one of the worst examples of that I've seen. And he goes over...
This is one of the worst examples of white guilt, actually. He's not wrong. This is 100% one of the worst examples of white guilt, but... Tom, my bad on this, but what exactly was your criticism? So, as I said, the criticism was that he had those red flags. Being friends with somebody like AIU, atheism is unstoppable. This is somebody who literally constantly complains.
Okay, you're saying... Dude, does he think AJW would have... Does he think that if he just phrased his criticism this way, AJW would have agreed with it? because it's not the case. That's just like totally delusional. There is no world where AJW is going to turn around and say, yeah, my thumbnails having black people and me being friends with atheism is unstoppable are actually good points to start building a case that I'm racist, right? Because that's what Tom's saying, is that it's like they're red flags. They're red flags. They're things that point you in the direction of someone being this way. They're things that identify, that you could use to start identifying that, warning signs. And it's, you're friends with someone, and I don't like your thumbnails. I don't think AJW would ever have agreed with those being red flags. So his point would still stand.
Food Shop super chatted $5. Heckin' wholesome black landlords. This restored my faith in humanity.
Thank you, Max, for the $5. One Reddit gold to you, Max.
About black people attacking white people, about them raping all the beautiful white women, about them about like black people hating white people, and that we're just kind of like putting up with all of their crime and allowing them to run around through the streets beating us up all the time and shit like that. Like, these are things that we've reviewed him on here numerous times saying. And he's friends with him and promotes his channel and has said numerous times to go follow him. That doesn't necessarily mean that he believes the same things as him, but it is normal for somebody to see that connection and say, oh, he's promoting somebody's channel who says that sort of shit. He might agree with them. Just the same as if I start promoting like Nick Fuentes' channel, or telling people, yeah, cozy.tv is a great fucking platform, great people over there, go follow them, here's the link. That a lot of people might make some assumptions about the things that I believe, even though I don't. It doesn't necessarily mean that I believe that. It could be that I don't believe that at all. It is still the red flag that people would make that assumption from that thing. Then the thumbnails where everybody is black, and I say, like, yeah, living in New York, you might have a reason to have a disproportionate amount of black and brown people on your thumbnails, but you're still, like, people are going to see this and make a lot of assumptions from this thing. And I think I literally say, yeah, I don't know that he's racist or anything. I'm just saying that, yes, like, people are going to jump to conclusions based on these things. That is what I said. So we're here.
Okay. People are going to jump. No. Then why is your criticism, you've got these red flags, and not criticizing people jumping to conclusions? Surely you'd be like, oh, it's bad to jump to conclusions about this guy being racist based on these thumbnails. You shouldn't jump to that conclusion. But no, you're saying these are red flags. These are things you should use to identify racists. That is what he's arguing for. Why is he now switching back and acting like, oh, well, some people jump to conclusions based on that, but not me. I wouldn't. No, you're using that as a point to judge. Clearly.
His entire thing is just jumping to a bunch of conclusions about things that I never said and that I don't believe. I'm not super upset about it. I don't like being misrepresented, and I don't like it when people are saying I believe things that I don't actually believe. It is understanding that based on the context that he has, that he might jump to those conclusions, because those would be red flags for those sorts of beliefs. Those would be red flags for those sorts of people. So, yeah.
A bunch of different videos. Again, he's...
Yo, thank you, Max, for 5 gifted. Again, thank you.
Ball schemes. It's not really about black people, even if that person in the thumbnail right there is a black person that actually highlighted a law firm that was running the scheme and caught on surveillance making the crack in the sidewalk in order to have this guy trip over the sidewalk so that he could sue the building owner.
Can't tell on that one either. Black woman. Don't know, maybe brown, maybe white, so that could be one that's white.
The case that he highlights right there with the Sacramento district attorney is about her sending a warning to Target to stop calling 911. She's the Sacramento district attorney. Target is just...
Yes, a lot of his content is actually about, like, black people doing something bad. Like, very large percentage of it is also, like, black people did something bad. And as you see when I'm going over his thumbnails, listen, it's not all, like, New York stuff, right? So, like, we'll have Los Angeles here, we'll have Central Park there, so that's New York, this is Disney, this is Detroit, Michael Brown, San Francisco, Chicago, Houston, like, all of these are not New York. I would say the majority of them are not New York, although he just talked about the super mayor, so I don't know what city she was from. If you guys remember, you can tell me, but I thought it was Detroit. Yeah, this one's New York. So yeah, just like even the parts of this that we're talking about are not him just analyzing where he lives, like we were talking about. So even on top of that, just like kind of, yeah, giving extra credit to things that I was wrong about.
Just Target, the company, so not even a person there, but okay.
Don't know, maybe brown, maybe white, so that could be one that's white.
And then when he hovers over the video, which starts playing...
Yeah, Frederick, again, just going to say this for like the 3rd time.
No free weaves is a funny thumbnail. It is. It is. It is. Cops say no free weaves for blacks.
And if you just keep repeating yourself over and over, I'm just going to have to get rid of you. Nobody disagrees with this. Nobody's argued against this. Nobody said anything about that. So you can keep repeating what I'm repeating over and over, but you're not making a point at all. Nobody has said anything to disagree with that.
a portion of it, he is weirded out by the fact that I highlighted the Snake Man right there, who also is a white guy, and I cover this story or mention this story repeatedly on this channel, who was convicted of 76 felonies in California, but because they're deemed nonviolent crimes, they ended up having to shift him to the county jail, not to the actual prison where he should have went, where repeat offenders definitely need to go, and because there's no room in the county jail, he was released. Again, not after 76 felony charges, after 76 felony convictions. And another reason that story jumped out to me is because the guy crawls like a snake through the robberies, and I find that to be hilarious. But this supervillain is a white guy, unmistakably.
Black woman, about crime.
I mean, again, just look at how stupid the analysis is that we're getting right here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to time Frederick out. I've asked him to give me an example of something I've said that disagrees with it. He refused to do it, but is still arguing with something that nobody said. So, if my people do a disproportionate amount of crime and it makes the news, then AJW is likely to speak about black people. This is simple. Manny, did I say you shouldn't speak about black people? Is this the thing that I said? You guys are all like actually like children. You're actually fucking children. You have child-like minds. I am sorry that my brilliant fucking children speak about you is likely to speak about black people. This is simple. Manny, did I say you shouldn't speak about black people?
Oh no, he's about to go off on some black chatter. Okay, I need to grab a snack. Okay, sorry, 1 second. I'm gonna keep playing the video.
Is this the thing that I said? You guys are all like actually like children. You're actually fucking children. You have child-like minds. I am sorry that my brilliant, big brain, super nuanced takes got out of this space. They shouldn't. They are dangerous for people like you guys. They are way too dangerous for you guys to hear because there's too many big brained ideas in there that you're just going to get caught on all of them. But as I said, don't have issues with him talking about black people. I talk about black people committing disproportionate amounts of crime pretty regularly. As I said, also talk about Michael Brown committing crime. I've also talked about the issues with crime waves. I've talked about all of this shit many times. That he's talking about things that I also talk about. So it's not, none of this is relevant. None of this is like disagreeing with me. None of these critiques even attempt to engage with anything that I said here. It's just not relevant.
He goes to Pamela Price, who, by the way, again, let that perpetrator out 8 days before he committed 5 robberies in 1 hour. And that was somebody that her office directly recommended for release. And he's like, oh, this is just about black people in the thumbnail. No, it's about the actions of the Alameda County District Attorney. And then he goes over to this one where I show the judge and he's like, oh, well, that's a white judge.
White woman on there for the judge.
Again, not understanding the context of that particular case where the judge shot down an appeal for self-defense claim, a self-defense claim made by a black person.
I didn't make a claim. I never made claims about the fucking context. I don't know why he keeps doing this. This is so obnoxious. I didn't make a fucking claim about the context. This guy is obnoxious.
That I 100% back in that instance because the standard that was put forward by the Minnesota Supreme Court about the duty to retreat was absolutely insane. That man was faced with a 3-on-1 attack. Instead of retreating because he was on a subway platform or a train platform, I believe it was above ground, so not a subway, he pulled out a weapon in order to chase off the criminals in an encounter that lasted 1 minute. When you read the decision, one of the things that they say is that this guy could have walked backwards at an angle in order to escape the situation, in order to...
Yeah, true. I'll give him time to prove he's not a racist before I go back in on calling him a fucking evil white Nazi again. My bad. I can't believe I
just heard Tom bitching and crying, saying that he never made a statement on the context, so he doesn't know why AJW is fucking bringing up the context of each of the pictures. But obviously the reason why he's bringing up the context is because Tom has implied that he's putting a bunch of black criminals on his thumbnails, and that's a sign that someone might be racist. And AJW is coming back saying, look, these guys aren't criminals and these guys aren't black. So it's like a totally reasonable response.
Did that, and I will allow him to prove that he's not racist. I shouldn't have said that so many times.
To avoid potentially threatening these people with the deadly weapon. Nobody was injured. He pulled out the weapon. He was able to scare off the criminals. By the way, one was armed with the knife that came at him first, threatened to kill him, and the other criminals sprung out at him in succession, so he didn't know if the 3 attackers he was facing were the only 3 people that he would be facing, so maybe walking backwards down a flight of stairs is a ridiculous standard to hold him to, but that's the case that I was defending right there, but that counts as white judge.
White woman on here for judge. Kamala and Biden, black woman. What is he saying? White judge. Okay. Is he saying that I'm pointing out a white judge because Okay, I get what he's saying. Okay, like it's just it's like such a large majority of them. Like it's so many, dude. It's just so many that it's just it gets to an undeniable point where you're like, okay, this is like 85-90%.
Yeah, tomfoolery, you're an idiot. I just want you to know that that is at an undeniable level based.
I'm so stupid. I can't believe I just called him a racist again right there. I can't believe I just said it again. You guys heard it that time, right? Oh man, all the people who keep denying that I ever called him a racist. Let's listen to it again. You'll hear it this time. Just listen closely.
Wait,
Biden,
Blue.
black woman.
Is that in the AJW thing? Do you have a timestamp for that? In this stream, he also mentions his friend IRL called him a Destiny clone. What?
And like it's like such a large majority of them. Like it's so many, dude. It's just so many that it's just it gets to an undeniable point where you're like, okay, this is like 85-90%.
Yeah, tomfoolery, you're an idiot. I just want you to know that.
An undeniable point of what? What becomes undeniable? What is he saying there? Because the implication is it's undeniable that AJW is racist. Now Tom's saying that's not the case. What? So he's saying there's undeniably a red flag, but a red flag is kind of like inherently deniable. I feel like that there is a deniable element to that, no? Because the point is that it's not anything solid. It's like a warning sign. So there is. I feel like it has to be a red flag. It has to be deniable, no? I don't know. Oh, maybe not.
That is.
You guys heard it that time, right? I said it gets to an undeniable point that he holocausted all of the black people. If you slow it down and play it backwards, you can hear
actually engage with the point.
An undeniable level based on your ridiculous analysis of my thumbnails.
So ridiculous that I said that.
Ends up cutting off when you scroll down, and then there are more white people in the thumbnails. Not that that is indicative of a standard of what the content of the video actually is. It is just the thumbnails. And by the way, one of the ones that he highlighted was
this is the frustration, is that he keeps saying like he doesn't even know the context. I didn't say anything about the fucking context. I made no claims about the context. There's nothing about the context made there. The claim was about the thumbnails, which he didn't he hasn't shown a claim yet. He hasn't played a claim yet, but that's all right. Yes, the claim was about the thumbnails.
Okay, that was the claim then, Tom?
It's this guy right here.
Many, dude. It's just so many.
The story was about how the city that he lived in, the small town, gave him a tax bill.
Let's please prove you're not racist again, AJW. Do it again. Do it again.
4,000% higher than the previous
3 hours 14:42. Okay.
Year, based on a faulty assessment. He was unambiguously the victim in that story. And spoiler alert, I didn't say pay those
he's
taxes
not racist
because
again.
you're a minority. I backed him 100%. So if you have even a black victim in the thumbnail in a story where he's not victimized by another black person.
Is sticking up for black victims here, guys. I can't believe I fucked up so badly with calling him racist so many times. I can't believe I said that. That was wild.
That is evil white racism for tomfoolery and his ridiculously stupid analysis. Look, bad faith
that's because that's the analysis. That was the analysis, is that there's no black victims and that he was a fucking horrible racist. That was the analysis. Totally right. He got it. This is great analysis here. If you want good analysis, this is it. This is what good analysis looks like.
Well, it's certainly not on fucking TomFoolery show.
That's
for fucking sure.
Criticisms, ridiculous criticisms. That's
it is actually crazy. Like, man, I fucking hate that Tom has such a stupid ego, man. It's so crazy. Because I've never seen anyone say anything positive about Tom's content. I don't see people do it. I just never see it. Other than his alt accounts. He's fucking boring. He doesn't engage with the points. He sits there vacantly, not really listening, and meanders around in circles. He tries to pass off things Destiny says as pieces of wisdom that he's divined. He's an embarrassing retard. How does he have an ego? You've been doing this for 4 years, 5 years. You're at 60 viewers. How do you have an ego? How? How has the world not beaten it out of you yet? What needs to be done? What else needs to happen?
For me, being called names like racist, perfectly normal.
Because of all the times in that clip that I called him racist, and all of the clips that he's shown what 20, 30 clips of me calling him racist and saying the word racist. It's fucking wild.
Unfortunately, because that's what these people do when they're too lazy to actually do the research into the person that they're talking about. But this...
Yeah. Probably the 100 different videos of his that I've covered and where I've agreed with him the majority of the time. It's not enough research to really understand him. It's not, I'm not capable.
This particular segment right here, whole other level. This particular segment right here, ridiculously stupid. This particular segment right here seems like it would embarrass even Lance from the Surfs, although, to be fair, I don't know if I want to hoist that burden on Mr. TomFoolery, because maybe the Surfs thinks this is absolutely an amazing analysis, and he wish he thought of that, because he is that dumb, and I don't want to claim anybody is less smart than Lance from the Surfs, but I want to...
Well done. Good job. Good job. Yeah, me and the Surfs, we're like fucking this, guys. Me and the Surfs, we are huge Surfs fans.
I don't know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did this guy get me dead to rights? Is it really undeniable based on...
Did you get a claim yet? Did you get a claim yet?
On the thumbnails alone, or was this...
Wow, I've got some clips here. What's this one?
I don't hate Destiny.
Fuck's sake. What is this clip? I can't remember what these clips were. These are the clips from the Just Like Destiny folder in the Tom folder. So, wow.
I don't hate Destiny. I think he attracts a lot of crazy people. That's like my favorite thing about him. Yeah. I also attract a lot of crazy people. The people in my orbit are also crazy people. I enjoy it. This is why I also get a lot of people who are trans, because they all have a mental illness. That's my favorite thing.
It's happening, I guess, a little bit with Brittany, where Brittany thinks that I'm like super against these points of view. I'm super not open. And my whole community is like, oh, but Destiny, you simp hard for Brittany. It happened with Lav, where Lav is like, when this girl's like,
so you emulate him. See, this is what I'm talking about. You just keep characterizing things and giving me some sort of characterization. Why can't you just like tell me that I'm doing something wrong and tell me what it is? Why can't you do that? Is that so hard? Alex C? I don't emulate Destiny. I am nothing like Destiny. I don't like, okay, let me change that. My streams are nothing like Destiny's. I do my show very differently from Destiny. I have very different opinions from Destiny.
Like what?
I just said it, you keep ignoring. Hold on. Let me scroll up. There's literally nothing here. Look, if it's not popping up here, it's not popping up in my chat either. The last thing you said was, the meaning of tap dance is a step dance tapped out audibly. So that was the last thing you said. And everybody else, you guys can scroll through and tell me that if I'm wrong, because if I am, then I can't see it. But yeah, the very next thing you said was, so you emulate Destiny. Anyways, we have very different opinions. We have very different politics. We are very different people. I don't emulate Destiny in any way.
Tom is making a Destiny documentary that he went and interviewed Destiny
I'm not
for.
in Tom.
He even hired out a hotel conference room to do so. What's this one?
Yeah, I'm part of like the oldest group of streamers. Like Destiny, like we're like as old as it gets, and we just keep pushing the fucking bar. Like people couldn't imagine somebody in their 30s streaming just a little while ago.
The age of
He's proven that old men can do it too. Tom and Destiny showing old men can do it too. You know, 30-year-old men can get 60 viewers too, guys. Yeah, it's not true. Like, gaming's got way older people. It's just not true. Whatever. Okay, let's go back to this.
The worst analysis that you've ever seen. Again, all your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, one of the lines of defense that I'm expecting from this guy is for him to play
victim because he's white. I have a percentage that's Native American. That's what it is. That's why he's attacking me, is because I'm Native American and I believe that he's a fucking Nazi. And I haven't been a big AJW fan for a long time, and that he didn't just jump to a bunch of fucking insane conclusions based on nothing.
victim because, oh no, bigger channel attacks smaller channel. That's mean and totally uncalled for. Even though he put out this ridiculous criticism about me in public, probably would stand by it, never even think about it again.
I don't care that he's a larger channel talking about me. It's annoying. I'll admit it's annoying when larger channels get things so wrong to where, like, I can't imagine somebody watching me reviewing this and then walking away thinking I called him racist. I can't imagine anybody watching this.
No, you're just saying it's a red flag for racism. Okay, sorry. It's just like it feels so weaselly, man. Whatever.
And thinking, yeah, Tom, you did call him racist. But most people aren't going to watch this. They're going to watch that. And they're going to come away from that with him just claiming I called him racist over and over and believes that that's a thing that I said. Have you covered Destiny talking crap about you yet? Yeah, he wasn't really talking crap about me. Somebody just jumped on and said something about the
big boy
challenge. That was all.
And if I didn't address it, and when you say something out there in the public sphere, you are expected, or you should expect, the potential at least for a response in the public spheres. But hey, those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. As usual, if you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about possibly the dumbest criticism I've ever received. Till next time.
Awesome.
Well,
greetings and salutations.
With that being said,
it's crazy.
It's just dead to rights, guys? Or is this the dumbest
criticism? Mantis just ratting around, desperately trying to defend Tom. Dog, log the fuck off. You were the one person defending this guy, and you were embarrassing yourself horrendously.
Criticism I've ever received. Let me know down in the comments.
Insane.
Look at you covering for daddy.
Mantis Base actually should become a decent logger. The thing is, Mantis doesn't make fucking content, okay? This is the problem. Mantis doesn't get on streams enough. Mantis doesn't stream, okay? Yeah, I've tried getting Mantis to stream. I've tried, okay? Trust me. I want the content too. That's why friendship ended with Mantis. Now Kari is my best friend, okay? Oh yeah, the Destiny clone thing. Let's have a look at that. Like 3 hours 14, right?
Like this weird idea that exists in Destiny's audience that's based off of a conversation that we had, I think, with Destiny like a year ago, where there's like a bunch of progressive people in Destiny's audience, even though we have a bunch of people in Destiny's audience who are fans of ours, who are like convinced that me and Adam are secret right-wing Trump supporting shills. And even though that could be as further from the truth for people that actually watch our content. And so when you said that, it kind of played like
Kuihman turning on stream every day.
What? It was gone. There we go. What is this? Okay. I just got a Jeremy Clarkson video somewhere. Where is it? Where is it? I don't see it. Wait, this is fucked up. What folder did I put it in?
Food Shops super chatted $2. Kamala supporter and smoke. Definition of gay.
I can't even vote. How, like, call me a Kamala supporter. I feel like that's a bit over the top. I can't even vote for her. Right. Listen, pornography. You're a supporter? Well, I mean, I guess. Okay. Where was this? 3 hours 14? There we go.
Again, directly into that negative stereotype.
Okay, so this is literally the same thing. This is literally the same thing. And I have a friend who literally the other day, yesterday, he messaged me and he was like, just watch the AJW video. And this is one of my like IRL friends, not somebody that I know from online or anything. It's like, I just watched the AJW video and I feel really vindicated. And I was like, on what? He's like, I knew that you were just a Destiny clone. And every time I talk to you, you just repeat what Destiny says. And I was like, bro, all right, I'm not going to talk to you if this is what you're doing. Like,
Please tell me this is like a Shaggy Dog story, right? This is like a lie. This is like when a stand-up comic comes up with a story based on interaction that might have kind of happened, but has been artistically changed in order to illustrate a greater point or convey a joke, right? That's what this is. This didn't really happen, surely. Please tell me this didn't really happen.
Yesterday. No, yesterday. He messaged me and he was like, just watch the AJW video. And this is one of my like IRL friends, not somebody that I know from online or anything. It's like, I just watched the AJW video and I feel really vindicated. And I was like, on what? He's like, I knew that you were just a Destiny clone, and every time I talk to you, you just repeat what Destiny says. And I was like, bro, all right, I'm not gonna talk to you if this is what you're doing. Like, I'm not talking to you if you're incapable of talking to me, and instead using me as a go through to talk about Destiny or whatever. I'm not interested. Like, go, you know, if you wanna shit on him or go talk to him, you can do that with him, not with me. He's like, all right, like, fine, like, I'm just, you know, just saying. And I was like, all right, no, how about this? Look, you are a fucking Trump. You're just a Trumper.
Okay, Dan, I added color correct, but it's like just a bunch of settings now. It hasn't changed anything. Yeah, that's good. I'm fine with. Okay.
Time I talk to you, you are literally repeating everything that Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones say, word for word. Sometimes you are literally saying the same exact words in the sentence to make the same exact point. You are just a shill. You're just a clone. You are just Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones.
He's like, considered Bronzer.
Do you really think that? I was like, I really think that you say the same exact things as them. I don't think that I know that. You 100% say word for word the same exact things as them. But I don't throw that at you every time you make an argument. Even though I've already heard it 1,000 times from Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones and literally every other Trumper, I don't throw that at you to discredit your opinions. I argue with what it is that you're saying, but you don't argue with what I'm saying. You just come up with reasons for why my arguments are stupid because Destiny said them too or something. It is hard.
Well, that discussion actually happened in Spicy earlier. The sound pads are not for soundproofing. Okay, Jack has also been very silly in Spicy chat. He said I got scammed. He said I got scammed on soundproofing. It's not true. That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard. Foam stops reverb and echo. Obviously, you're gonna get less if you put fucking foam against the walls. You're gonna get less reverb and fucking echo when you're trying to record shit. Obviously, that's just the case. That's how physics works. Okay, you can't get scammed on just having shit that makes surfaces soft. It's like impossible to get scammed on unless you just pay a fuck ton of money.
For people to hear somebody say something that they've heard other people say and not make that association. So
this isn't a Yeti. What are you talking about? This is not a Yeti. This is not a Yeti. This is an MV7. Okay, this is a Shure MV7. It's not a Yeti.
So lots of us will hear Trump say something, and then his fans all run around and say that thing. And it's hard for us to think. Oh yeah, I'm sure
there was never a time with a foamed room in the Yeti. That never happened. That was never the case.
They just, you know, went through some research and like ended up coming to the same conclusions. Like it's really hard to come to that conclusion. Like, no, you think, okay, I heard Trump say this first. Now I hear them saying it. They're just running around copying what Trump said. They're just falling in line. They're just doing what they're supposed to do. It's like, yeah, it's a normal thing that literally everybody does on both sides. And so as he is telling them, like, yeah, your audience is full of Trumpers. So now you guys just repeat Trump talking points at this point. That's just what you're doing. I heard Trump say it first, so now you're saying it too. They do the same thing with like Destiny stuff, and everybody does the same thing with like Destiny or Vosh or Hassan. Like whoever it is that you watch, you get all of your opinions from them now. You love them, you're obsessed with them, and you have to get all of your information from that one source now. It's like, yeah, it's a normal thing for us to make those connections. It's just, it's not, you're doing the same thing where you are like kind of like degrading their positions or degrading their ability to be an agent or to think for themselves or whatever. You're making it to where like, yeah, they literally have no agency, and it's better to just argue with what it is that they say.
What type of us?
Sure.
So is there anything I missed, Adam, that you want to add before we throw it over to Connor?
Well, I don't know if people want the back story.
Okay, I think that was it.
The Sean.
I think that was all we got. I mean, I guess maybe we can finish this. Fuck it, why not?
Wait, he didn't talk shit about me. I was just putting a fucking clickbait title. He didn't say he wasn't talking shit about me. Somebody else went on, and they were saying stuff about me, but they weren't actually talking shit. Okay, so let's get to. Do commit more crimes, and like, you know, it's New York, and so it's just, it gets to an undeniable point where you're like, okay, this is like 85-90% of this shit. Like there's no way, there's just not that much there's not that much black crime in New York. So even if we like kind of give some sort of like benefit of the doubt, which I've tried doing many times, I've tried saying, yeah, like, well, I mean, black people do commit more crimes, and like, see here I am saying black crime, and he cut this out, right? So he got me saying it's undeniable at this point. But then I continue to say, there's just not this much black crime. That's what I say. Right there. I say it right there. So while, yes, I'll take the L that the first time I said black and brown, I do clarify twice right here that I'm talking about black crime in New York. So even if we like kind of give some sort of like benefit of the doubt, which I...
Yeah, but wait. So, okay, so this is allegations that AJW is disproportionately covering black crime. Well, then that explains entirely why he's going. Then it explains entirely why he was going over all the context for different thumbnails, then, doesn't it? Because a lot of these are not black crime. A lot of these are like black victims or black people who are turned out to not be criminals, like in the Free Weaves instance. Like. Dude, he's such a retarded snake.
I've tried doing it many times. I've tried saying, yeah, like, well, I mean, black people do commit more crimes, and like, you know, it's New York, and so it's but yeah, it's just, it's not going to explain to this degree.
5, probably under 1 or 2%, would be my guess. Okay.
So yeah, there you go. There you go. Nowhere in there do I say he is racist, but yeah, I'm pointing out that if people see this sort of thing from a channel where all they're talking about is like black
snake is a funny visual. It would never put its tongue back in its mouth. Okay.
Crimes nonstop, that yes, they are likely to come to conclusions about that person. Then when a lot of the videos are like, yeah, black person did something bad, or black person said something stupid, or you're friends with AIU, that people are likely to jump to conclusions. And when I'm saying it's undeniable at this point, I'm saying it seems like he plays into this to some extent. Like, if you have a large overlap with a fan base that's that's bigger than yours, which at the time when AIU started promoting him, AIU was much bigger than him, and so it makes sense that yes, you play into what it is that will help you grow with that fan base and appease that fan base to some extent. And so whenever I've covered this, which I think I've talked about it maybe like 4 or 5 different times on my streams, that I always say, like, yeah, I don't think he's racist, and I don't have any reason to believe he's racist, but
yeah, okay, this is just true, okay. But look, it means that I can get this, it means that it's easier to, like, it's going to be better in the future, okay. I don't know why Kuihman is stressing about camera settings when he's going to turn it off in 30 minutes to change mode for the night.
Based on all of the red flags that we have here, like, it makes
not like bro has different clothes to wear either, so he's going to get flamed like Chud Logic.
Sense that some people might jump to those conclusions. But what he does is he doesn't hear me ever call him racist. He doesn't hear me ever say anything about like black people don't commit crimes. He hears me actually say that black people do commit crimes at higher rates. And I guess he said that I also called Michael Brown a criminal, that like a bunch of other things. But he jumps to the conclusion that I believe a bunch of things that I don't believe, and that
I am actually, Stylos actually mentioned
I would never stand by. And so whatever his criticism is of me talking about red flags, he's doing the same exact thing. But where I say he has these red flags, but I'm not calling him racist or anything, he says he has these red flags. He's this dumb soy leftist who doesn't believe that black people commit crimes, and it hurts his feelings to talk about black people committing crimes, and he agrees with Lance from the Surfs, and he's, you know, this this leftist person who doesn't like, who thinks it's wrong to talk about. And yeah, it's just all obviously blatantly incorrect. The let's just to finish this off, okay? Just to cap this off. I think one easy way to just kind of disprove all of this.
Yeah, to be honest, I wish I had like the curtain still behind me. It's so difficult. I need to. Fuck. Yeah, I would love to just have endless money to just build like a set. How fucking sick would that be? How crazy would that be? But sadly, money is limited, and we have to work what that means. I can't just go and buy a. I can't go and rent a studio space to stream from. I'll never be truly happy. Thank you, Max, for the 10 gifted memberships. That's almost infinite money. I can't. A Head for Hydra getting a membership. Jesus. That's a name. If Kuihman played more Legend of Zelda and listened to less Black Veil Brides, I've never listened to Black Veil Brides. I've never been a Black Veil Brides guy. He'd be wearing Walmart graphic tees with Eat, Sleep, Game, Repeat across the front. Yeah, I would, dude, curtains behind or something would go kind of hard. I feel like there's got to be something like make the set a little bit cooler, you know. The camera will come back on soon, okay? I'm smoking. Bob 8 in a victim shirt. Or I was trying to dress the room and he can't dress himself. Stylo. This is fine, okay? I will not take... Listen, I got flamed by... Just because I got flamed by one woman in chat today, okay? My choice of clothing. I think it's fine. I think a flannel is fine. Pumpkin spice flannel is fine. I think that's a fine choice. I think this shirt is fine. I've had no problems with this shirt ever. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, Queller. I think the funnel's fine. Stylo. Dude, I feel like DK, it's such a shame DK isn't posting anymore. I feel like he would love the da-da-da-da. I feel like da-da-da-da is like right up. That's like a DK special. I do not have a cartoon character closet with the same shirt hung up like 20 times. That's not true. I didn't do that. I didn't do that at all. I already spoke to DK, so fuck you. I don't understand why I'm getting flamed for the... I don't get it. I don't get it. What have I done wrong? Okay. Let's finish this. I'm gonna keep smoking.
And show how retarded this is. Let's just go...
Let's find my next segment. Are we gonna do the Sunday stuff?
This is why I'm so hard.
I'm gonna keep putting it off.
Oh my goodness. Alright. There we go. Okay. Violent crimes.
White gold.
So this is talking about black people committing more crimes. This whole thing is me making fun of leftists who don't admit that black people commit more crimes, and me talking about, yeah, crime rates at higher rates.
I don't know. From where I'm sitting, I've been told my entire life, never put people into buckets based on immutable characteristics. Some women love being stay-at-home mothers, blah, 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 blah. Wait until you find out some insert race people might steal your shit. Not all insert race people. It's demeaning, discriminatory, even dehumanizing. But with men, we can. Help me to square the circle. Listen, you can act on stereotypes around people, okay?
If I donate 50 gifted subs, will you rate the hottest Sonic characters on our tier list? It would probably... What's 50 subs? It'd probably have to be more than that to do that content. But I think there's probably a dollar amount where I would do that, yeah. There is almost definitely a dollar amount, and not a crazy dollar amount.